everyone, how you doing? Welcome back to another TSW5 news video. And it was only Thursday, wasn't it, that we had a development update from Just Trains, and already here we are on Wednesday the 23rd, and we've got another one. Last week was all about the Morecambe branch. This week it's all about Carlisle and the area all around Carlisle on the upcoming West Coast Mainline Over Shap route that Just Trains are going to be bringing out to us. The frequency of these updates, you know, to me is a signal that this thing is just around the corner. I've got my fingers crossed, as you know. So I thought we will do the usual. We'll have a look at the article itself, which is coming from the Just Trains website. And again, as always, I will put a link to it so you can read this yourself underneath in the description below. We'll have a skim through it. We'll look at the latest screenshots, which this time actually have been quite handily captioned, so we can have a look what the captions are. But let's have a read about it, shall we? And as I said, this one focuses on Carlisle and the surrounding areas, the Carlisle region. And Carlisle is a famous railway city, the meeting point of 4 lines in the 1980s. It's a constant hive of activity, no matter what time of day or night that you visit. Carlisle Citadel Station and the surrounding area will be the key hub on our West Coast Mainline Preston to Carlisle route. I'm still calling it the West Coast Mainline Over Shap. Many of you are as well, I've noticed, because of the probably because of the TS Classic route, but the official title is West Coast Mainline Preston to Carlisle. So either way, we all know what we're talking about, hopefully. So should you choose to spend some time train spotting here, you're bound to see a wide variety of movement and traction. Citadel Station itself features 3 through platforms, making it something of a bottleneck in busier periods, whilst it also features 3 South End and 2 North End bay platforms. The South End bays provide terminating points for the trains from the Cumbrian coast. I hope we get the Cumbrian coast at some point, honestly. Once we get to Carlisle in this route, I think the route will end on that little branch there, but if we can get the Cumbrian coast at some point all the way around to Carlisle, that's going to be brilliant. But that's going to be a bit of a beast for somebody to develop. I think Just Trains might be the people to do that though, because they've done a version, well, on-track simulations, and some of those guys who are with on-track simulations do work with Just Trains. So I'm hoping we get that too, all the way around to Carlisle. The bays also provide terminating points for the Newcastle and the Settle to Carlisle line, though that particular route saw less than 5 trains a day during the 1980s. At the north end of Citadel Station, you'll find 2 north-facing bay platforms, and these used by trains from Glasgow, most of which will have travelled via the route through Dumfries. You'll find a Class 08 pilot is present here to assist with shunt releasing inbound trains so that the locomotive can return the service northwards. Outside the station, with its impressive overall roof, you'll find the Citadel itself, and many of the shops and streets surrounding have been faithfully recreated by our team to give Carlisle a realistic feel. I'm looking forward to seeing the outside of the station. It is quite unique, Carlisle station. Moving away from Carlisle city centre to the north, we find Kingmore Traction Maintenance Depot and Marshalling Yard. The depot is a core area of the route where locomotives are sourced throughout the day for a variety of services. In 1986, the depot was in its final year of BR use and was also utilised by empty stock trains from Carlisle, which would arrive in service from London Euston, for example, before running up to Kingmore to run round and then in some cases return back to Upperby Depot for stabling. A bizarre series of moves, all taken from the working timetable, which is sure to keep you entertained in the area. Aside from the TMD, you'll find the Marshalling Yard. This huge complex located about half a mile north of the depot was a source of much freight in the 1980s, from limestone trains to Hardendale Quarry to the vast array of trip workings, which we've represented in our route. You'll find these Class 08 hold services taking you to a number of locations across Carlisle, including London Road, Coal Concentration Depot, Curragh Wagon Works, Upperby Cement Terminal and Petrol Bridge Oil Terminal. The trip workings provide a fantastic challenge, particularly when you have a fully loaded rake of TEA tankers or PCA cement wagons in tow. To the south of Carlisle Station, you'll find the signal box. This controls movements as far south as Cornforth and north towards the end of our route at Kingmore, as well as the myriad of signals to the south of Citadel Station. A complex network of lines encompasses the south side of the city, with London Road Concentration Depot, Coal Concentration Depot, Petrol Bridge Oil Terminal in close proximity, alongside the S&C and Newcastle lines, whilst Upperby Cement Terminal dominates the line side. Apart from this, Curragh Wagon Repair Depot is featured, whilst Rome Street Goods Sidings house the Metal Box Factory. This is located about along what was formerly Carlisle Avoiding Line, this having closed in May 1984 following a derailment on the Coldew River Bridge, thus forcing all freight trains through Citadel Station instead. You can still see clear signs of this line in our 1986 base route. Another interesting location to the south of the Citadel Station is Upperby Depot, and this provided a stabling point for both electric and diesel traction in Carlisle City, but was more notably used for the holding of carriages for both services on the West Coast Main Line and the Settled Carlisle lines. You'll be able to form services of empty stock here, ready for movement into Carlisle. This includes the accurate and interesting propelling movements which used to take place. A high number of landmarks have been extensively recreated by our custom asset team, and these include, amongst others, Carlisle Cathedral, Carlisle Castle, Dixon's Chimney and Mill, London Road Goods Depot, BT Carlisle Harrowby Mast, and the Milton Hotel overlooking Upperby. This wide variety of buildings provided a fantastic backdrop to a truly historic and vibrant railway city. We're sure you won't tire of things to do in or around Carlisle, whether it's shuttling around in the Class 08 or preparing to charge south at the helm of the Class 87. There are always things to do. So it sounds as if you get bored of running up and down the line between Preston and Carlisle, and why would you? It seems as if there's a heck of a lot to do and to see just around Carlisle itself from the description of this. I mean, this does nothing but absolutely whet my appetite for this even more than it already has done. We have got some screenshots as well, which we will look at, of course, before we go, as we usually do. And first of all, 08901 trundles through Carlisle's through roads with trip 9T04 from Kingmore to London Road. This train conveys loaded HEAs for the Coal Concentration Depot. The trusty 08 doing its usual thing, which is nice to see. Looks like right at the back we could have a 47 there in the platform just peeking out. The next one we've got is a cold and misty evening finds 47578 at Carlisle Kingmore prior to working back south later that night. It looks like the refueling area, so I don't know whether we're going to be able to refuel the locos perhaps up at Kingmore. We've done that a few times, haven't we, with various locos and units in other DLCs we've got for Train Sim World 5. Then we've got a lovely looking 87 with nameplate, and that is 87029 Earl Marischal, and that's departing from Upperby Goods Loop at the head of a southbound container train. These trains will take all your skill in adverse weather conditions to master the Northern Fells. So this is just about to make the trip south, and interestingly I saw these asphalt wagons as well, and I can see that it's Lanka Asphalt, obviously a fictitious company, but I noticed the dialing code is 0772. That's the dialing code for Preston actually, prior to another 1 being inserted. It's now 01772. But that's a nice touch. So up in Carlisle area we've got Preston asphalt wagons, but the train itself, I mean, look at that, look at the 87, you just want to jump in, don't you, and drive it, really do. We've got really looking forward to this. The next one is quite a moody shot, isn't it? And this is 08902 running round a small train of vans at Rome Street. These vans would then be reversed into the Metal Box Factory sidings located just under the bridge in the background. The lines in this photo once formed part of the Carlisle avoiding line, which closed in May 1984 following a derailment. The Rome Street gas cylinder frame dominates this landscape. I think this bit is in TS Classic as well, I'm almost sure. And then a Whitehaven bound stopping service prepares to get up to speed as it heads for the Cumbrian coast. In the background is the wagon repair depot at Curragh. All manner of vehicles were repaired here and trip workings from Kingmore were used to transfer these. So again, here is the start of the Cumbrian coast, and as I said earlier, once we got this one out of the way, I really hope Just Trains decide to do the Cumbrian coast next. It'll all link together so nicely. We'll see. This is an interesting one, isn't it? Lots going on in this one. Action above and below. This shows the complex of multi-level lines south of Carlisle Citadel Station. On the lower lines, a Class 08 can be seen running around its train at Rome Street, whilst 47648 approaches from the Cumbrian coast. In the background, a number of Class 47s await their next turn of duty in high whopping stabling sidings as a Class 87 departs Carlisle with a freight train. There's so much going on in that picture. And there's Carlisle in the background. Yeah, it's pretty good, isn't it? Upperby morning traction. A Gronk shunts a short rake of coaches out of Upperby TMD sidings, no doubt on its way to form a full rake of coaches. All the while, a pair of Class 87s motor past as they get to grips with a heavily loaded steel train from Glasgow. So we've got a number of different liveried coaches here as well, which is quite nice to see in this shot. And then 87032 Kenilworth stands in the through siding at the rear of Carlisle Station with an empty steel train. This working would lay over for a short while to allow a northbound express to overtake it before continuing north. So this is at the north end of Carlisle Station. We've seen a couple of screenshots in the past over here in this platform. Looks like there could be a Gronk there in that platform, just hiding in there. Then this is the one I've used for the thumbnail. I really like this one. So 87010 King Arthur makes a brief stop at Carlisle whilst working 1M34, which is the 1310 Glasgow Central to London Euston in the July of 1986, correctly formed with its Mark 1 NHA, which are capable of 110 miles per hour running, and first class at the south end. These trains normally saw first class at the front going south to allow those on board to disembark quickly at Euston without having to walk the length of the train. So we can see also in the background here, got King Arthur, but in the background we've got a 47, just light engine under the quite distinctive sort of arched bridge that is still at Carlisle today. Then finally, we just got one more shot in this dev update, and again, this is another 87. On a cold and foggy November evening, 87016 Sir Francis Drake prepares to make its book stop at Carlisle Citadel whilst working northwards with 1S83, the 1545 London Euston to Glasgow Central. Just look at that mist and the reflection off the side of 87016 Sir Francis Drake. So moody that shot, isn't it? So moody and typical of a November evening up north. It's, you know, I was excited last week. Every time they throw one of these dev updates at us, I get excited. It's got to be around the corner now, isn't it? I want the next one of these to be the one that says the release date, but we'll keep our fingers crossed for that. Hope you've enjoyed this usual little run through. Don't forget that the link to the dev update itself containing this and all the previous dev updates from Just Trains will be in the description. If you want to click the hyperlink there and go straight to Just Trains website, you can do that. Thank you to them for the continued updates and all the screenshots. I can tell that they are quite excited about this route. You've never seen this many screenshots and reports about a route, have you, in the past? You can tell they're quite passionate about it. Fingers crossed it's coming soon. Take care, everybody. Hope you've enjoyed the video. I'll see you in the next one. All the best. Bye for now.